to Iowa Wesleyan University's commencement program. This is a special day, the most important in the life of an institution. It's graduation day. It's a fantastic achievement for each of you to have made it here. And I am proud to share this moment with each of you. But you have not made it here on your own efforts. So if you're in here now, please everyone be seated. On behalf of the class of December in 2021, I'd like to take the moment to acknowledge those who have helped us along the way. The support of these individuals that provided to us has helped us make us into the outstanding men and women that we are today. So if you are a family member of the graduates today, we ask that you stand. For nearly 180 years, we have been educating and training leaders to become teachers to become leaders in the field. Leaders such as teachers, police officers, astronauts, physicists, medical doctors, government officials, coaches, nurses, and many, many more. There is no doubt that this does not happen by accident, and we have the best assembly of faculty in the entire region, and certainly one of the most dedicated in this entire country. This is demonstrated by their tireless work each day on the behalf of you guys, the students. If you're a faculty member, we ask that you stand so that we can recognize you as well. As we begin today's program, Iowa Wesleyan is going to have a defining moment that we wanted to be able to share with each of you. We're going to officially retire the current presidential chain of office. I'm going to ask that Diane Schnicker bring this chair and put it in the middle for me here. The current presidential medallion has been used at Iowa Wesleyan for over a half of a century. President Plunkett, would you please come forward and stand before the chair here? You can see the original article from 50 years ago that will go in archives. So a little bit about the current medal that our president is wearing. The current president's chain of office, sometimes referred to as the Presidential Medallion, was designed by Iowa Wesleyan art professor Terry Daniels. The chain of office is bestowed upon each president in succession and is used during official occasions when the president must wear their academic regalia. It is the official symbol of the university and represents the office of the president. The medallion currently worn by President Plunkett was first worn by President Louis Hasselmeyer in 1970 at his inauguration ceremony. The medallion was worn by every president moving forward until today when we make this transition. I'll ask for the president to have a seat. I'll ask for our chair of our Board of Trustees, who will come forward here in just a moment, Robert Miller. As we move into this new era of Iowa Wesleyan University, I'll ask for the chair of our Board of Trustees, Dr. Robert Miller, to please come forward. In front of your chair, Miller, is our new chain of office behind you here. The new chain is cast in brass with satin gold plates. The chain length is 34 inches with its own special engravings. I will ask that you first take this chain off our president. We'll tell you more about the chain she'll put on. And we'll put it in the case over here after you're able to do that. The new chain that the chairperson will put on our president is engraved on the plates are the values of our great institution: learning, community, discovery, action, faith, courage, service, and passion. Between each value is the IW logo that represents our university. Below the values is etched the words president and the academic seal of the university. You can go ahead and put it on her. The academic seal represents the president, the Board of Trustees, and us, the faculty. The Great Seal can be found on the faculty mace in front of the podium and on our program. The seal has the depiction of Old Main Cupola and has a date of the university founding, which was 1842, the oldest coeducational university in all of Iowa, older than the state of Iowa. The seal also has crosses on the left and the right sides to represent our historical affiliation with the United Methodist Church. The great fields on the logo represent Iowa, a place of agriculture for generations and a place that is a field of opportunities. The sunrise on the seal represents a new day in the history of Iowa Wesleyan, and today is such a day. Chair Miller, thank you for removing that and putting the new one on there. And it is only fitting in this new era that we would have the opportunity to place this new chain of office on our first female president in the storied 180 years of the history of this institution. Thank you, Chair Miller and President Plunkett. As we officially move into the next part of our program, I will ask that our conference superintendent for the Iowa Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church, Reverend Douglas Q., to come forward. He will lead us in an invocation as we ask the Lord for the blessing upon our program today. Reverend Q.
Thank you. Thank you. Friends, let us enter into an attitude of prayer as we begin our celebration. Spirit of life, Creator, source of all, we thank you for this day and this celebration. We ask that your blessing fall upon those this day who will commence to new beginnings and grand possibilities. In your provision, give them the courage to step into the unknown and to do so without second guessing and doubt. Provide them with strength in their capacity to care for others and to respect diversity. Through your Spirit, bless them with patience as they explore new horizons, with humility in the face of success and abundance, and with conviction in the midst of the challenges that are bound to come. Fill them with compassion, with generosity, and with gratitude as they seek to live into and become the very world that they hunger for. May they be aware of the shoulders they stand upon, and bless us all assembled. Family, the friends, the faculty, the mentors, administrators, support that came in so many ways as we share in the joy of their accomplishments. As we celebrate and recognize this accomplishment, may we continue to seek wisdom and grow along the way. Pour it upon them, within them, and around them. Hear our prayer. Amen.
We will now have Professor Buffington, Blair Buffington, and he will be directing Prima Voces today. And they'll be performing from up in the stage area, if you look to my stage right. Professor Buffington, the floor is yours. A round of applause for our prima voces. Our music program always does an amazing job, so thank you all. It is now my official pleasure to introduce our 30th president of Iowa Wesleyan University, President Plunkett, President Christine Plunkett. Chris has held administrative and executive positions in leadership and finance for more than 25 years, including 20 years in secondary and higher education, and for several years as a technology consultant and a small business owner. Through the Registry of College and University Presidents, she first joined the executive team here at Iowa Wesleyan in July of 2015 as our Vice President for Finance and Treasurer. She was named the President of Iowa Wesleyan in July of 2019. Prior to joining Iowa Wesleyan, President Plunkett served in executive positions for 7 years at Burlington College in Burlington, Vermont, and then including 2 years as their president. Please help me welcome to our stage our president, President Christine Plunkett.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. On behalf of the entire Iowa Wesleyan community, I extend a warm welcome to our graduating students and to your families and friends. I hope that over the coming months and years and decades, you're going to look back and recognize that your years here were transformative. I hope you'll be able to say that your time here allowed you to know yourself better, to understand the world better, experience joys and challenges that shaped who you are, and form lifelong friendships. What you may not recognize is that in your own way, you have transformed this university. Through your presence on campus, your academic pursuits, your creative gifts, and your athletic energy, your service to others, you've made us better teachers and better leaders. By sharing your experiences with us, you've helped us to better understand the challenges faced by a new student who may be far from home. You've told us what kind of academic, athletic, creative, and social opportunities you need in order to enjoy a rich and rewarding life on campus. You've allowed us to experience the enrichment that diversity brings to a campus and to a community. You've helped us identify the unique challenges of parenting or working full-time while keeping up with your studies. Through your many contributions, the university is a better place, and we are all better for having known you. Each of you has become a cherished member of the Iowa Wesleyan University family during your time here. You've brought us the languages, foods, and customs of Spain, the United Kingdom, Nepal, Venezuela, and Australia. You've achieved honors in the classroom, and you've set records on the court. You've brought music into our hallways and art into our galleries. You've served as tutors in the Student Success Center and graduate assistants across campus. You've shared your intellect, your humor, and your friendship with us. Like any family, we are conflicted as we walk you out the door today. We are so proud of your accomplishments, yet our hearts can't help but feel a tug as you say goodbye to us and hello to the much larger world that awaits you. So today, we extend our heartfelt congratulations, and we wish you fulfilling and meaningful lives as your journey continues. Thank you. It is now my privilege to award the Presidential Medal for Outstanding Merit. The Presidential Medal is bestowed upon individuals who have distinguished themselves in service to Iowa Wesleyan University or who have made substantial contributions in educational, ecclesial, or social spheres. It is awarded by the president of the university to an individual when the appropriate circumstances arise or occasions merit the award. This afternoon is such an occasion. The colleague we will be honoring today is one who has made an indelible impact not only on the region and the state, but on the country and the world. It is truly our honor to have him here today with his wife, Kristen, his sons, Aaron, Abraham, and Isaac, and members of his famed Sheffield Labs located at the University of Iowa. Special thanks also to those lab members, Calvin, Charles, and Chi Hong, for attending today. They joined us earlier for lunch. Dr. Sheffield received his PhD degree from the University of Chicago in developmental biology in 1983, and his medical doctorate degree with honors from the University of Chicago in 1985. He received pediatric residency training and medical genetics fellowship training at the University of California in San Francisco. Upon completing this training at UCSF, Dr. Sheffield came to the University of Iowa in 1990, where he has spent the rest of his career. Dr. Sheffield is an internationally recognized leader in human molecular genetics and genomics. The focus of Dr. Sheffield's research has been the study of human hereditary diseases. His laboratory has identified genes involved in numerous disorders, including hereditary blindness, diabetes, and hypertension. Besides identifying genes and mutations that cause human diseases, his laboratory has studied disease mechanisms. It is this research in DNA and viral RNA that led us at Iowa Wesleyan University to first learn about Dr. Sheffield and his academic achievements. Dr. Sheffield's lab was featured in an article in the summer of 2019 because it was one of the first small number of medical labs in the United States to create testing for COVID-19. Sheffield Lab subsequently became Iowa Wesleyan's testing center for all of our COVID-19 testing. And I know that you graduates are familiar with all of that testing. We were initially drawn together through the COVID-19 pandemic, but we hope the relationship will go forward for many more years. Dr. Sheffield, would you please come forward? Thank you. The following are the words on the framed certificate in front of Dr. Fraser. It's the Presidential Medal for Outstanding Merit to Dr. Val Sheffield. Whereas Dr. Val Sheffield is a renowned medical practitioner at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, serving as professor of pediatrics, medical genetics and genomics, professor of ophthalmology and visual sciences, Carver Chair in molecular genetics, director of the Interdepartmental Research Program in Human Molecular Genetics, investigator of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, and director of the Division of Medical Genetics. And whereas Dr. Sheffield leads the Sheffield Lab of the Carver College of Medicine, where he tirelessly conducts COVID-19 research and serves Iowa Wesleyan University with distinction, providing exceptional support with rapid and accurate testing for COVID-19. And whereas Dr. Val Sheffield, through his support of testing, continues to keep the Iowa Wesleyan University campus and community a safer place. Now, therefore, consistent with the mission and values of Iowa Wesleyan University, and in recognition of his lifetime of outstanding, meritorious, and distinguished service, commitment, and achievement, the Iowa Wesleyan University Presidential Medal of Outstanding Merit is bestowed upon Dr. Val Sheffield for his exemplary leadership and commitment in COVID-19 research, his passionate advancement in rapid and accurate COVID-19 testing, and his support in keeping Iowa Wesleyan University campus and community safe by providing rapid and accurate testing. Dated this 9th day of December, 2021.
I can get you all right around here too. Would you take a picture together, then you can say any words that you'll do. So move out a little bit here for
You make me want to cry. You didn't come here to hear me, so I'll keep this short. But first, I want to congratulate the graduates for your achievements, as well as their family members. Second, I want to thank President Plunkett and Dr. Frazier for their kindness in bestowing this honor upon me. And then I want to tell you just a brief story that hopefully has a point. But after many years of study, I came to the University of Iowa in 1990, and shortly after that, I presented some early work of mine at an international conference, talking about, my presentation was about my plan to identify a gene that caused a certain disease. And after my presentation, I was approached by a very famous scientist who came up to me and told me that my plan would not work, that I would fail, because the disease I was studying was not a genetic disease. And this gave me great pause, and I actually perseverated on this for several days and wondered what to do, whether I should give up this project and move on to something else. And then I thought, and then decided, wait, what does this guy know? He hasn't done research in this particular area, and I have. I have data. And so I'm going to continue to pursue this project. And it took us 5 or so years, but we eventually identified this particular gene that causes a blinding eye disease. And it was published in one of the very best journals of science, and it essentially made my career, or gave a big boost to my career. And so what's the point of this story? The point of this story is, if I had listened to somebody else and their discouraging words and not pursued it, then I would have failed. But by pursuing what I knew what was right, it led to success. And the same with you graduates. You should pursue what you feel in your heart is right, and not be dissuaded by somebody, particularly somebody who doesn't know. And that counts both in your career work and your faith in God. Pursue what you know is right. And thank you.
One of the greatest scientists in the world right here in Iowa today. Make sure you get a chance, graduates, to say hello and get a picture with him at the end. We are giving the floor back over to Blair Buffington and the group. Our brass ensemble will have a performance for us here, so we will also transition again up to the balcony.
Thank you. Please afford me the opportunity to introduce our 2021 Chadwick Teacher of the Year, Dr. Shauna Hudson, who will serve as our keynote speaker for this December graduation. Dr. Hudson, a professor of education, is a veteran educator, having served as a teacher, principal, and teacher trainer for more than 25 years. An advocate for education as a form of social justice, Dr. Hudson is passionate about serving students, breaking down barriers to learning, and using research to guide instruction. She currently serves on the Iowa Association for Colleges of Teacher Education's Executive Board, Iowa's Teacher Leadership and Compensation Leadership Team, and numerous campus and community committees. She's a mom and a wife who cherishes time reading, walking the family dog, and savoring a good cup of tea. This past spring, Dr. Hudson was selected as the Chadwick Teacher of the Year, nominated by students and colleagues who spoke of her passion for learning and teaching, her love for people, and her leadership in the Iowa Wesleyan community.
Thank you, President Plunkett. Oh my, what an honor to be here today and talk to you as you celebrate your graduation. I know I speak on behalf of the faculty when I say congratulations on completing your degree. We are so proud of you. Now, I have to be really honest. I had a pretty unbelievable graduation speaker when I was sitting in a seat much like yours. The President of the United States was my graduation speaker. Yep, you heard me right. The President of the United States, President Bill Clinton, spoke at my graduation. But you know what? I don't remember a word he said or even the main idea of his speech. I'm sure it was interesting and full of useful advice, but I don't remember it at all. I remember he was the President of the United States. I remember I thought, wow. And I remember, well, that's it. That's all. That's all I remember. So here we are today, and likely you won't remember anything I say either. But my hope is to give you a memory you can carry with you for life. Consider it advice, a good wish, a start on your path after college. My advice comes in 3 short points today. Point 1, spin-outs are part of the race. Point 2, don't do life alone. It's the friends you call at 3 a.m. who matter. And point 3, decide what kind of best you will be. Let me start with spin-outs are part of the race. Now, if you haven't already experienced it, you will soon discover that life can often feel like a race. Racing here, racing there, maneuvering your schedule, other people's schedules, avoiding near crashes. I mean, it's easy to meet yourself coming and going in this race. I was living one of those days a year ago when my son, who was 14, came home and said, "Mom, don't get mad, but I think I'm going to be in trouble when I tell you this." You see, he and his friends had been riding their ATVs and discovered some really incredible, perfectly maintained trails that seemed made just for them. After riding those trails, they popped up over a hill and there was a beautiful house. Now, at this point, I'm guessing most people would have quickly gotten off that property. But no, not my son. Instead, he went right up to the front door and asked if they could ride those trails, conveniently leaving out the part they had already been doing so. And the owner said, no. It was then that he came home letting me know that he was probably in trouble. No kidding, that's called trespassing. Now, Board Chairman Miller, let's see if you can identify who this is in my story. It's a very good friend of yours. The next morning, I was getting ready for work when I heard Thinking it was my next door neighbor, I yelled, "Come on in, Linda." And the voice on the other side of the door answered, "I'm not Linda." When I opened the door, a man I didn't know very well stood there and said, "Do you have a son who rides a blue four-wheeler?" Ugh. In the race of life, moments like this are known as a spin-out. But you know what? That conversation turned into an offer for my son to be part of a pit crew for a late model race car known as 15R. What a lucky kid. Now, if you're like me and you don't know a lot about racing, you might need a little bit of information. A late model race car, it's like this thing that hurls along this track and it throws mud on people in the stands, and there's metal clashing as these race cars go inches by each other, and they fly around this track and they roar and they tear around these turns and they blaze down the straightaway. Now, after being at many races, I'm not much on the noise and certainly not much on the mud. But as I've watched, I've learned a few things. And one of them is that spin-outs are part of the race. I've seen a car be in the lead and the driver overcorrects or miscalculates a turn or maybe gets bumped from behind, and then here comes the skid. I mean a massive spin-out followed by a crash and sometimes a rollover, and it's never pretty. And these spin-outs, graduates, these are part of the race of life as well. We are like that car. Sometimes spin-outs happen when life goes way too fast. We get turned down, we don't get what we want, we get rejected. Basically, life spins out of control. And when that happens to you, and it will, you do what the best racers do. You go to the pit for help. The pit can be asking your friends, it can be calling home, it can be talking to one of your professors. For me, the first stop I make is to pray. After you've gone to the pit for help, you get back out there, banged up and all. Your front fender can be missing, your tires can be wobbling, but just don't you quit. That's point number one. Spin-outs are gonna be part of the race. Now for my second point. Don't do life alone. It's the friends you can call at 3 a.m. who matter. So the night, it was pretty typical in our home. It was early winter, no snow was on the ground, but it was cold and daylight had ended early. After eating and bathing our little ones, my husband and I had put our children to sleep. I was then upstairs reading a book, and he was downstairs watching TV. After a few pages, I was fast asleep. I don't remember, but I was probably having a really good dream when I was awakened by my husband, who said, "Shh, call the police. Someone's in our house." I said, "What? Where?" My usually very calm husband said, "Downstairs. I heard someone's phone ring in the back bedroom twice." Now, as we went back and forth, we were trying to decide, should we call the police? Was someone in our house? Had my husband actually heard something? My husband insisted we had to get downstairs and find out who was in our house. Knowing the police would be quite some time in arriving, all of a sudden we both said, "Call Greg and Dana." Now, I don't know about you, but I only have a few friends who I can call at 3 a.m. in the morning, and the next day, they're still my friends. So we called our neighbors and woke them up, saying, "We think someone's in our house." It wasn't but a minute, and here came Greg, middle of the winter, no shoes, no shirt, a flimsy pair of shorts, clutching a baseball bat. And as I sat upstairs shaking, and I heard them throwing open closet doors, checking the windows, and whispering to each other, I realized it's the friends that you can call at 3 a.m. who really matter. So graduates, even though I doubt that you ever think there's an intruder in your house at 3 a.m., you're going to encounter many times when you need a friend. So be sure to find those friends who are going to help you. Those friends are going to be so important. And over the years, I've learned that God doesn't intend for you to do life alone. Your friends are going to matter. Oh, and if you're wondering, to this day, we have no idea if someone was at our house. But the guys discovered that the back window that was always kept locked was unlocked that night. Perhaps someone slipped in and out, and it's a good thing for them if they slipped out, because a shirtless, shoeless man holding a baseball bat is a scary thing. That was point 2. Don't do life alone. It's the friends you call at 3 a.m. who matter. My final point is my favorite. It's point 3. What kind of best will you be?
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old, and I was in school, and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping, and the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." So I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me, and I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "No, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he asked, he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer." From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
So as you can see, and Clint Perver says, there's a difference between being the best
Hi,
in the
I'm
world
Nicole.
and the best for the world. And that's point 3. What kind of best will you be?
Yeah, I get to come up right after watching that video. Thanks for doing that to me. Anyway, my eyes water sometimes, Baldo. Thank you, Dr. Hudson, for these words of wisdom and encouragement. We really appreciate you bringing the message for us, your dedication to students, and to the entire community here in Mount Pleasant and Iowa Wesleyan. I can certainly pray, and I will, that I'll be a Mr. Jensen, so thanks for sharing that with us. And once again, just congratulations to being our reigning 2021 Iowa Wesleyan Chadwick Teacher of the Year. It's an amazing honor, and it's well deserved. So thank you, Dr. Hudson. Audience, please take a look at your program as we now are at the time of presenting our December 21 class and conferring of our degrees. Will all the candidates for the baccalaureate and the master's degrees please stand? Everyone stand. Madam President, upon completion of the course of study prescribed by the Iowa Wesleyan University faculty, upon recommendation of us as faculty, we present these candidates to you and the conferring of the Bachelor of Science, the Bachelors of Arts, the Bachelors of Science in Nursing, and our Masters of Arts degree. Madam President.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Iowa Wesleyan University, and in accordance with the laws of the state of Iowa, I confer upon each of you the baccalaureate or master's degrees to which you are entitled, with all the rights, duties, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto, having successfully completed the prescribed course of study and having been recommended by the faculty to the Board of Trustees, and having been recommended by a motion of the Board of Trustees to that effect, now I invite you to come across the stage and accept your diploma.
Please be seated. We will now proceed with the presentation of diplomas. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I direct your attention to the program. The name of each graduate is included in the program with their degree and the honors received. I will also invite you to read the program to learn the details of the 3 levels of Latin honors and the Medal of Academic Distinction. Candidates, when you proceed to the platform, I will read your name. Please stop and step forward and receive your degree from the president, or as you get your master's degree, to be hooded by Dr. Schmidt here. Please make sure to pause for a professional photo opportunity when you receive your degree, and we will start with our first row standing and coming forward. Jenna A. Murphy, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership. Paige Alexis Kammer, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership. As our next candidate comes forward, you'll see students wearing colors of flags that represent their home countries or also representing the military branch of government that they served in. Jose Miguel Baldo Gonzalez, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership from Venezuela. Cristian Garcia, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership from Spain. Carmelita K. Baum, Masters of Management Leadership. Jacob Jeffrey Leonard, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership with a concentration in criminal justice. Stacy Ann Martin, Masters of Arts in Management Leadership. Braxton Taylor James Klett, cum laude, U.S. veteran, military, Navy. You could go. I love the signs. We love you, Dad, that you can't see from the video. Bridget J. Johnson, magna cum laude. Alexandra Prabel, cum laude. Sarah Malin, cum laude. Make sure to take your time. No problem. Camille Ahart, cum laude. Shelby Ann Bride, summa cum laude. Special thanks to our faculty chair, Dr. Cheryl Newland, for getting the diploma covers to our president. Thank you, Dr. Newland. Madeline Zillman, summa cum laude. Candace Deanne Moore, cum laude. Catherine Valentino. Katie has her own fan section there. Taylor Kate Johnson. Destiny Stetson, cum laude. Keelan Joe McNamee, cum laude. Neha Verma, cum laude. Neha is from Nepal. We say hi to her family watching online as well. Lois Ann Skubal. Sabrina Starkey, cum laude. Irais Lopez. Matthew Christopher Whaley. Minami Matsumoto, magna cum laude. Minami is from Australia. Philip Gould, cum laude. Ben Thomas. Ben is from England. Carter Ryan Colby. Austin Tyler Macbeth, cum laude. Allison Marie Pertowitz, summa cum laude. Tosin Adidaran, cum laude. Mitchell Darren Wilcox, cum laude. Mitchell is also from Australia. Michael James Noonan. Mariano Mateo Moreno from Spain. That's the last one. We could be seated. Thank you, Chair Miller. I respectfully ask for our Director for Alumni Engagement, Ms. Diane Davis, to come forward. Ms. Diane?
Good afternoon. I am honored to be the first to congratulate you on your achievements and welcome you as the newest alumni of Iowa Wesleyan University. Your college experience was certainly impacted by an unprecedented worldwide pandemic. However, your hard work, persistence, resilience, and determination have paid off. As an Iowa Wesleyan University graduate, be sure to continue to be a tiger, tenacious, inspired, global, engaged, and respectful. Take risks, collaborate with others, be inclusive and community-minded, be deliberate, and above all, be honest, ethical, and full of integrity. Your ongoing allegiance to these ideals, which you have upheld as a student, will serve you well in the months and years to come. I also strongly encourage you to stay connected with your alma mater. Keep in touch. Come back and visit campus often. Support your Tigers. We would love to have you involved in the future. In addition, I would ask and need to learn from each of you, what can Iowa Wesleyan do for you? These conversations and relationships will move us forward collectively to be the best we can be. I now invite you, as confirmed graduates, to turn your tassel from right to left, thus signifying the completion of your journey from a student to an alum of Iowa Wesleyan University. I wish each of you the best, now and in the future. Continue to be more. Be the difference, be passionate, and most importantly, be you. Again, my congratulations, and God bless you.
As we welcome Professor Blair Buffington to the stage, he'll lead us in our Iowa Wesleyan hymn. The words of the song can be found on the second page of your program. Professor Buffington, I'll have you come forward, and then I'll ask our Board of Trustee member as well and senior pastor of our First United Methodist Church, Reverend David Brock Wagner, to come forward and give our benediction before the closing announcements. Professor Buffington?
As your classes and grading are now complete, may you strive towards excellence in all that you do. As the speeches conclude, may your voices rise. Rise up to pronounce justice and peace in the world. As the fanfare ceases, may you sing of joy, even in the dark and lonely places. As the applause quiets, may you celebrate and lift up those around you. As you graduate, may your achievements grow and cause growth in your community. And may we all know of the overwhelming blessings of the one who has created all things. Go in peace. Amen.
Just a couple quick announcements as we get ready to have our processional. Just a special thank you to our registrar's office, provost office, Miss Patty, Miss Diane, Megan, and all the details and work that they did to finalize your degrees and working on that. Also, a special thanks to our platform party. Once again, thank you to Dr. Hudson for the wonderful speech, and thank you, Dr. Sheffield, for a life well lived and wonderful, amazing. Thank you, both of you all. As we leave today, we'll be walking out, and there will be a line of faculty to salute you guys as you walk through. There will be photos being taken outside. Our bookstore will be open for a couple more, at least another hour or so, if you want to go there and find something for your recent graduates. So have that opportunity too. Once again, I'd just like to thank you for attending, and may God richly bless each of you on this journey. Be a light in the world for peace and love in this day and age when we need it. Let me leave you with a quote from probably the most famous Iowa Wesleyan alum, Dr. Peggy Whitson, the first female commander of the International Space Station and the longest-serving astronaut in United States history. Quote, "I could certainly encourage young people to pursue their dreams. It isn't always an easy path, but it's worth going after. And I figure if a farmer's daughter from Iowa can become an astronaut, well, you can just about be anything you want to be." God bless each of you. Happy holidays, and we hope you have a good afternoon. Please be seated to wait for, or please stay standing in your seats as we do the processional. Thank you very much, and we'll see you outside.